that I should acknowledge, including a lot of my colleagues, Tree and Tony Stewart, Rochelle and Bilal and Kylie, Jihad, Jason, Chris, and of course David and Mark. And also two Lees here as well, community worker, wonderful lawyer for the local community. It's great to see you as well, Chew, with your little boy there. This is an amazing festival, and this is my first time at this festival too. Can you believe it? I haven't been here before today, but it's such a privilege to be here, to see young kids coming together off their devices and off their mobile phones and playing in the community. There's a lot that's written about what divides us in Australia today, but not enough is actually shown about what pulls us together, that we live in this beautiful country, that we all love each other, that we work in together, that we are wonderful neighbours to one another, that we don't just tolerate each other's culture or background, but we try and share in it, and we share ours with somebody else. It's unique to the world, and it's something precious that we need to protect, and Toot's done exactly that. There's a really important message that comes out of this festival, and that is that nobody is born with hate and racism in their heart. They're taught it. But we're just as easy to be able to teach them to love one another, to live in a community, to respect the fact that we live in this wonderful country, and that's exactly what the Children's Festival does. Congratulations to the organiser. And here's
our fantastic Premier of New South Wales. Might be the first time, but I know, mate, it won't be your last. Chris and I have got a funny thing in common. Chris's youngest son and my oldest son were born almost on the same day at the same hospital, and any of the nurses there would have been looking at two relatively inadequate husbands and fathers walking around that hospital thinking about what have they got to do next. Chris has mentioned all of the members of Parliament and councillors and mayors here, so I won't run through everyone's name, but I have to mention Erin Dibb, the long-suffering wife of Jihad Dibb, who I can see in the crowd. Don't clap, Jihad just told me that this classifies as date night, so good on you, Erin. And can I also recognise the absolutely awesome Tu Lee and her even more awesome son, who has to win the best dressed competition here at the Children's Festival, I reckon. I mentioned my older son, Jack, who was born the same day as your littlest boy. And when he was 4 years old, he said to me, he said, "Dad, I'm half Vietnamese and I'm half Australian." And I said, "No, you're 100% Australian. This is what Australia looks like. The children that were on the stage a moment ago are what Australia looks like. Australia is a country that is made up of people from all around the world. All different backgrounds, all different religions, all different cultures. And when you come to Australia to make it your home, we don't ask you to leave that at border control. We ask you to bring that with you. That's what makes Australia the best country in the world. And all of that is another ingredient in the secret recipe that makes us the best country in the world. And the Children's Festival celebrates all of that, reminds us of all of that. And for at least the last 17 years, I've had the privilege to be part of this. And can I thank everybody who makes this happen. Chris made the point before, this wouldn't have happened without the inspiration of Twat Nguyen. Thank you, my friend. It was a genius idea 26 years ago, and it is even more needed in the world that we live in today than it was needed 26 years ago. So can I thank you, and can I thank the many volunteers who have helped to make this festival run, not just this year, but over the last 26 years. It doesn't happen without you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I now would like to introduce you to another member of our Parliament, who is the Federal Member for Banks, Shallow Minister for Communications, our Honourable David Coleman. Please put your hands together.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be here and to see so many people here in Padstow for the Children's Festival this year. Many people out in the crowd, and also a lot of people up on the stage, from our Premier to many other local leaders and dignitaries, and I won't go through them all again, but they're all here because this event is very, very important and it's very significant. And when Tut had the idea 26 years ago to do this, it was really quite a visionary concept to bring together kids from all sorts of different cultural backgrounds to come together in one place to celebrate all of those backgrounds, all of those cultures, all of those traditions, and to also at the same time say, and we do this all within the umbrella of this great nation of Australia. And there is so much in that concept that we can all learn from and celebrate, because there are very few places in the world where so many people from so many cultures come together in harmony and in togetherness as they do in Australia. And long may we celebrate that, long may we defend and protect that, because it is fundamental to who we are as a country. So, Tut, thank you so much for your vision. Thank you all the volunteers. Every year it seems like there's another 10 or 20 volunteers. To everyone who marched today, thank you, and parents, thank you for organising all your kids and all the volunteer hours involved in doing this. It's a wonderful event. It's always fantastic, and it's great to be here again this year. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, David. And in mentioning the volunteers, it's lovely to have some of you back again with us. You started here as children and you're now grown up, you've got your own jobs, but you spare the day to come and help us. So thank you so much for that. Another good friend of the festival, member for Bankstown and now Minister for Customer Service and Digital Government, Minister for Emergency Services, I better read this, Minister for Youth Justice, the Honourable Jihad.
Thank you so much, Brian. Hello, everyone. And of course, I too want to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners and thanking our good friend Uncle Harry for always welcoming as he does. And I'll start with this point, which was the last one, which is always about the volunteers. We get to make the speeches, but there's people who've been doing a lot of work. So thank you again to all the volunteers, all the stallholders, all the people, whether you're from the community languages school, whether you're Metro Assist, whether you're here from the Scouts, or whether you're here in the community. I did see a sherbet making thing, but I do want to give a special shout out to the SES. The SES over there in the corner, they're recruiting today. If anybody wants to join up, they'll happily take you, but it's a great example of people who give up time for themselves. I don't think it's too different to what everyone's going to say. I first met Tut and members of his group, and Dr. Maria as well, many, many years ago when he was talking about the reason behind this. And this doesn't happen unless somebody champions it and works so incredibly hard. And the vision has always been, as that song was when we started, together we are one. And in a time with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, there's no more need than for a phrase of together we are one than right now. And in Australia we're so lucky, but we're lucky because we make it work. We make it work that we appreciate every person, we respect every person, we bring them together, and we understand that every single one of us has something that contributes to that Australian story. And the spirit is found in our children. Our children, as Jason said, who are not half Vietnamese or half Australian or half, they are 100% Australian. Because being Australian is everything. It's the combination of everything that we are. And this festival is what brings us together. 26 years, 41 different occasions. It will keep going. And I'm so incredibly grateful to have been a part of it. I'm so incredibly grateful to have been invited here yet again. But more importantly, I'm so incredibly grateful that every single one of us who is here today recommits to that vision, that we will all do our bit to make sure that when we talk about social cohesion and we talk about Australia, it's an Australia where every person belongs. It's an Australia where every single person is valued. And it's Australia where every single person's story is heard and is told. And to the Premier, welcome. This is a great occasion. Look forward to seeing you again here. And to Tut, I join with everybody here in congratulating you and thanking you. And finally, a round of applause to our MCs, please. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, our Honourable Jihib Dib. And ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce the next Member of Parliament, I would like to, just a reminder, all of our winners. Thank you, I think you're all here now. Just wanted to remind you, if you're not here, please make your way to the right side of the stage, all the winners today. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a member of New South Wales Parliament again, who is the Shadow Minister for Multiculturalism, Shadow Minister for Jobs, Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, and Shadow Minister for South Western Sydney, our Honourable Mark Hall.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here today. I want to thank, of course, Uncle Harry for that wonderful welcome to country, and I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands in which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I must say, you know, over the last 26 years I've probably attended half of these children's festivals right throughout Sydney, but mostly out here in southwest Sydney. And I want to acknowledge, of course, the organising team, of course, to Nguyen and to Brian, to Warren, to many others that have made this event possible. And it is truly one of the most, I think, signature events in my calendar and probably all of our calendars. It seems to be getting bigger and better each year. It's a wonderful event that brings all communities together, and we are one of the most multicultural communities anywhere in Australia, and I think we are a wonderful example to the rest of the world of multiculturalism and harmony and how it works. And I want to acknowledge everyone who's participating today, to the organisers. We've got so many wonderful sponsors and stall holders here today, and Jihad mentioned the SES. I'd like to acknowledge them and their wonderful service as well. I can see Cass there from my local area. Of course, the New South Wales Federation of Community Languages and the Bandana Cultural School as well. And to all of the stall and stakeholders here today, you've made today possible. It is getting bigger, it is getting better, it is a wonderful festival, and it's wonderful to see so many kids from many different nationalities and cultural backgrounds participating today. Again, it's a real honour to be here. Thank you very much for having me. I'm Mark Curray, the member for Oatley. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Mark. It gives me pleasure to introduce our next speaker, the member for East Hills, Kylie Wilkinson.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank Uncle Harry for the welcome to country, and I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land we meet today and pay my respect to elders past and present. And I'd also like to thank all my fellow colleagues and the Premier, Chris Minns, for joining me in my electorate of East Hills at the wonderful Playford Park. This is a park that I've played many games of touch football and cricket on, and my children have enjoyed this park. It's a wonderful place to gather and have a festival, and I really enjoyed the march past this morning with all the different groups from many the scouting organisations and schools. It just shows that there's so many wonderful people out there doing great things in organisations that bring children together and show them the wonderful sides of life. So thank you to all the volunteers, thank you to everybody that's helped out here today, and really I really want to thank the festival, Children's Festival. It's my first time in a festival, but I'll certainly be back here next year, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming. We have another long-time festival supporter, the member for Cabramatta, Tree Hall. So Tree, I'd like you to say a few words, please.
I didn't really plan this, but I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of land on which we meet here today and pay respect to the elders past, present and emerging. Thank you, Mr. Tukumin, for inviting me here today. I've known Mr. Tukumin for a long time, probably 3 or 4 decades, and I'm so happy to be able to come here to express, congratulate you on the 26th anniversary of celebrating the Children's Festival organisation. I'd like to acknowledge the Premier and all the federal MPs, Mayor, councillors and all the distinguished guests on the stage. and our special guests here today, and all the wonderful youth groups, students, schools, volunteers, and everyone present here today. Thank you so much. And I've attended many of the Children's Festival in the last 26 years, and from the time that I was in Sydney University, I attended with the student associations and then part of the community, and here I am, the MP, and I'm so proud to be able to stand here and join with you in celebrating harmony, diversity, and multiculturalism. And I can say that every time I'm here, it gets bigger and better, more communities, more groups involved, and more volunteers. And this is all about Australia, about multiculturalism, about diversity, and about celebrating who we are. And I understand that probably this is probably the first time, I might be wrong, but probably the first time that a New South Wales Premier is present with us today. And probably the other thing is probably one of the first time that someone outside of the area, like a member of Canterbury is also here. And once again, I'd like to wish everyone a very happy celebration, and hopefully I'll be able to come and celebrate more in the future, next 26 years with you, and next year will be 50 years anniversary for our community. Hopefully I'll be able to celebrate with everyone here as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Bree. Ladies and gentlemen, last but certainly not the least, because he has been a strong supporter through the years of the Children's Festival, the Mayor of the City of Canterbury-Bankstown, Councillor Bilal.
Thanks, Brian. I mean, I am the last speaker, so I might just say thank you for leaving me nothing to say. That I agree with everything they've said, and maybe just get off the stage. But can I, of course, thank Uncle Harry and for that wonderful welcome to country. Premier, welcome to Canterbury-Bankstown, of course, all the MPs. Can I, of course, give a big round of applause to Tut, Newen, and the whole committee. Can we give them a big round of applause? Thank you very much for what you do across the whole state in Canterbury-Bankstown. It's good to see this event back here at Playford Park. Well, Canterbury-Bankstown is home to more than 150 different language groups. More than 150 different language groups living harmoniously together. Jason Clare speaks very well about the fruit salad. I say it a little bit differently when I say I see Canterbury-Bankstown as this wonderful, beautiful garden with people living harmoniously, whether it's multicultural, multi-faith, right here in this city. The cultures, whether you're from Vietnam or Lebanon or India or Pakistan or Italy, China, whatever country you come from, you make the flowers and the roses and the wonderful trees and the wonderful birds in these roses and gardens. And we are definitely grateful for your contribution to the city of Canterbury-Bankstown. So once again, I won't be too long because everything's been said. Our children are definitely our future. And I want to thank the Children's Festival for putting kids on the map across the state, because they are absolute contributors to what we do here in the city of Canterbury-Bankstown. Happy festival. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Bilal, for that. And at this point, I just want to thank the Premier and all our special guests for being with us today. It's really lovely to have you here to experience the festival firsthand. It's been an honor to serve on this committee for over almost 20 years out of the 25. So thank you so much for being with us. Feel free to wander around and enjoy.